Welcome back, everyone. Today it's Sunday and I still haven't filmed anything, but I did realize that I haven't planted or sowed seeds for my pumpkins, zucchinis and melons. So I'm going to do that here in the greenhouse. It has been windy. It was extremely windy on Friday to the point where you could barely be outside. There were gusts of like 90 kilometers per hour. And we had a couple of casualties one main casualty in the garden too because of those winds. Yesterday, fairly windy. Today, not as bad, but still not really, conducive to filming outside. But I did have a few things I need to do here in the greenhouse. So I'm going to do that. I've got my seeds for my pumpkins, melons and zucchinis that I'm going to just sow into some pots, and they grow pretty quickly, so they won't go in until probably for another 3 weeks, which will be the start of November, because that's when the risk of frost has passed. Mind you, there's been no frost, no cold nights at all. I'll say that, and of course it'll probably happen in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, there's been no frost or cold nights for, I would say, about a week. The overnight temperatures have been pretty mild, so I don't know. It could still happen. It could still come. I think it's possibly because we've had a lot of cloud and wind and some rain, and that probably means that our nights don't get quite as cold. The other thing that I need to do is I'm going to plant some tomatoes here in the greenhouse. So the tomatoes for outside are not ready yet. So if you're planting tomatoes, you need to wait until the risk of frost has passed for us. So if you live in the sort of southern areas, it's usually, actually, if you're in a frost-free area along the coast, generally you'll be fine by now. But if you're more inland where you get frosts, you need to wait until at least about the first week of November. Mind you, you can still get a frost in November. We had one last year and I lost a number of tomatoes because of it. But generally that's the time to do it. So I'm not ready to put those out yet, but I am going to put my greenhouse ones in, which actually is a bit late. Normally I would have put them in earlier, but I don't know, my timing is just a bit all over the place. And because the weather's been so mild, I could easily have had them here in the greenhouse, and I think they would have been really growing well by now, but doesn't matter. You just got to do it when you can do it. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do today. I might give you a quick update also on the bee garden. I sowed some of those seeds, the beneficial insects, and not beneficial insects, beneficial insect flowers, and they are germinating. So I might quickly take you out. I won't talk because of the wind, but I'll just show you how they're going. And we lost one of our plants. That was the result of the wind on Friday. One of our flowering plants that we put in that bee garden, if you watched that video several videos ago, it just snapped. It snapped. The roots are still in the ground, but the top all just snapped off with all the beautiful flowers. So I don't know if it'll grow back because the roots are still in there, but I doubt it. So we did have a casualty. The others are all doing okay. So, all right, enough talking. I'm going to get into sowing these seeds. And while I'm doing that, I might just have a little bit of a chat so it's not so boring. All right, I'm going to do some pumpkin seeds first. I bought this potting mix, which is really not very good, from Aldi. I just happened to be doing the shopping the other week. I knew I needed some potting mix. I saw it there and thought, I'm just going to grab it while I'm here. Not necessarily just because it was cheaper, but I just couldn't be bothered going to another store to get to get it. And now I'm regretting that. It's very coarse. It has like really big bits and sticks, and I don't know. It looks like compost that hasn't broken down enough. That's to me what it looks like. It's it's not very soily. It's very just, and it's just got lots of big bits in it. I don't know. It'll be fine for this, I'm sure, but I won't be buying that compost, that potting mix again. It definitely is potting mix, not compost. Yeah, it says premium potting mix. It's not that good. Anyway, so what am I going to do? The pumpkins. Where are my pumpkins? All right, so one that I've grown before, and these pumpkins are going to go out in that new area that we have cleared, not in the main vegetable garden. And the ones that I've grown in the past, I had one year where, oh my goodness, my pumpkin patch was amazing, and it was over in the area that we are going to grow these in. And one is a Jarrahdale pumpkin, and they're fairly big. I don't want to do too many of these because although I really loved these massive big pumpkins, once you cut into them, you've got to use them up within a certain amount of time, and we just would have struggled to do that. I was giving away a lot of pumpkin, which I don't mind doing. I don't mind growing and sharing. It's not all about what we want and need. So I am going to grow some, but I probably won't grow a lot of the Jarrahdale. So the pumpkins are up to about 5 kilos, and this is an heirloom from Western Australia. So I think it's fairly good for the kind of weather and soil that we have here as well. So I won't do too many, but only because of their size, but we grew massive, beautiful pumpkins. Now, interestingly, now this is something I'm not sure about, and maybe I'll just trial it as a bit of an experiment. So these are the seeds that I bought from Diggers Club, the Jarrahdale. They were used by over a year ago, so I actually don't know how well they're going to germinate. I might have to possibly plant sow more than I planned to, just to make sure that they germinate. But I did save some seeds from a Jarrahdale pumpkin. What was that? 2023. So that's a couple of years ago. That would have been the year that we had a really good year. The seed sizes are a little bit different. Oh, they're not that different, but I feel like the ones that I have saved are a little larger than the ones that I bought. The thing with pumpkins is that you can get cross-pollination. And that year I did grow Jarrahdales, but I did also grow butternut pumpkins, the Waltham butternut pumpkins. I don't know, they possibly could cross-pollinate, and you're not necessarily, so I don't actually know whether these seeds that I have saved are going to be true Jarrahdales or something else. But I reckon I'm going to sow a few, and I'll mark which ones are the ones I saved, and let's just kind of, I don't know, let's just see. So I'm going to do, I think for now, how will I do this? Yeah, I think I'll do 6. I don't know that I'll plant all 6, but I'm going to do 6 from the seeds that I bought. I can't find where the, yeah. And I don't know how well they're going to germinate, but we've got plenty of time. I can always just sow them directly in the ground if they don't germinate as well, because pumpkin seeds are easy to do that because it's such a large seed. And I'm not using seed raising mix for these large seeds. I'm just using the potting mix because they're so large, you don't really need the very fine seed raising mix. All right, so these ones are the Jarrahdale. I'm gonna label those, and then I might just get a couple of smaller pots to do these ones that I saved, and I'll label those and try to remember which ones they are when we plant them out. And I'm just interested to see what they turn out as. Are they more of a Jarrahdale like I bought initially, or are they something slightly different because maybe there was some cross-pollination? I don't know. That's the beauty of gardening. If you have the space, you can always just do a little bit of experimenting. So the next one I'm going to do are the butternut pumpkins. So the ones I've grown before, the Waltham butternut, and I've had really good success with these, and they're smaller. They're more like some people call them a butternut squash. We call them butternut pumpkins, but they're smaller and they store well, and I find that they're probably easier for us to eat because we can eat like a whole butternut pumpkin in one go and don't have to worry about, once you've cut it open, that you've got to eat it all. So I'm going to do 6 of those. I'm hoping all 6 germinate, because if they do, I will plant all 6. If not, I'll have to sow some more. So it's very hot in this greenhouse. I've got a jumper on and I probably don't really need to have it on. I think when you're outside, the wind is, it's windy enough to make you feel a little bit cooler, and you come in here and the sun's out at the moment. Very, very warm in here. All right, what am I going to do next? I'm going to do my zucchini. I also realised I don't know if my zucchini seeds are in date. Oh yeah, this one is January 2027. The other one's 2024. All right. I don't sow too many zucchinis. I'll do a few just to make sure that I get germination. But generally 2 maximum zucchini plants in my garden. Like really even 1 can be enough. Zucchini just produce so much and you just get so sick of all the zucchini. My family's just like, seriously, zucchini again? I put it in everything. You try to give them away, but then everyone else is also trying to give them away and people don't want them. Anyway, 2 maximum is what I will be putting in the ground, but I'm going to sow a few more just to make sure that they germinate. And lastly, I'm going to do some melons. So last year I grew a type of watermelon called Sweet Siberian. They were only small, which again I prefer. I think a lot of the larger watermelons, which I have grown before, they have a lot of seed in them, and these still have a fair amount of seed, but I just find, honestly, my family are not into watermelons with lots of seeds. And so I'm not going to go to all that effort, but I really did like the Sweet Siberian. They were just small. It has yellow flesh and it's really nice and sweet. So I saved some seeds, so I'm going to try that. And I also have some rock melon seeds that were given to me ages ago. I actually don't even know if these will germinate, but I want to give it a go. I've never grown rock melon. Oh, they're only little, yeah, they're little seeds. All right, so I'm just gonna try. I don't even know if they'll germinate, but we'll give them a try, and we might find a spot in the garden just to let them ramble. Okay, now I'm going to plant some of my tomatoes in the greenhouse. The ones that I'm putting in the greenhouse are the larger varieties because they tend to need a little bit more time to develop and ripen because they're quite big tomatoes, and sometimes depending on the year and like the warmth and whatever, outside they don't, like by the time they start developing, it's like nearly the end of the season. So I've got beefsteak and mortgage lifter. So they're the larger varieties that I'm going to plant out. And I'm just trying to decide on what else I might put in here. I think I might do a tigerella or a tomato because they're quite nice. They're sort of a medium sized, and if we can get them ripening early, it means that we've got some tomatoes that we can eat earlier. I did do cherry tomatoes last year, but I don't think I'll bother, because I actually felt that by the time they got going and ripened, even though they're small, the ones outside were ripening at around the same time. I think because they're smaller, I don't know. I think they do well outside, and I don't really think we need to bother wasting space in here. I might possibly do a Black Russian, although I've got a couple of beefsteak and I've got a few beefsteaks. So I might do a few beefsteak, a mortgage lifter, maybe 2 mortgage lifters. I'm going to go and have a look, and maybe, I've got a Tommy Toe that is looking really good. Tommy Toe or Tigerella, I don't know. So my plan is, oh goodness, I just put these out now. I've forgotten which is which. I think this is a mortgage lifter, this is a beefsteak. So a beefsteak, a mortgage lifter. I'm going to leave this space along the corner for capsicum, because the tomatoes actually, they hit this shelf up the top. So I think capsicums grow smaller. So I think I'll leave this whole sort of corner along here for capsicum. And then I've got another beefsteak, and this is a KY1, which I have never grown before, but my dad gave me some seeds. So these are still in seed raising mix, so I'm just going to get those out and in there, and then Tigerella in there. So I think that's the plan. Now, just a quick tip when you are planting tomatoes, is there's not really too many lower leaves on this one, but plant them really deep so that they've got lots of roots that they can grow along that stem. Particularly important for when you are planting out in the garden where there's winds. Probably not as much of an issue here in the greenhouse, but I do open these windows when it gets very hot. So plant them a lot deeper than you think you should. If there are a lot of lower leaves, pull those off, and then just, which I think I already did when I transplanted these, which is why they don't have them. All right, so I'm going to leave that space. I'm just going to try and put these little, where did the other one go? Mistake. I'm going to put these in so I can remember what's what. All right, and then over the other side, start with this one here, I think. I only just potted these up not long ago, so I probably didn't really need to. That's okay. So I'm leaving, I think, about like 40 centimeters or so between the tomato plants. This needs a good water too. This soil's a little bit dry. It's not too bad when you dig down. Alright, so this is the, let's get my shadow out of the way. This is the plant that we had right in there. So there's the tag that broke off at the base. So there is in here still a little bit in the ground, and the roots are still in there. So I don't know if that will reshoot or not, but it was very sad to lose all of that. I did get some into a vase, but these are sort of too far gone. And you can see what has germinated here. So I've got, I think These here are definitely like sunflowers, so they are sunflowers. These ones here are something different and I don't know what, so that'll be a mystery. And then I do have some of the smaller seeds have been germinating as well. So I've got this one here, not sure what that is, but there are some smaller things germinating too. So that'll be really interesting to see how that looks. I wanted to give you a quick update on the potatoes because all of them have sprouted. I'll just show you. You can see here, this one's sprouted, that one's just sprouting, they're sprouting. So we've got plenty of potatoes, I think nearly all of them. This one here, now have a look how the roots are growing along here. So I'm going to hill that up and cover that up a little bit. I think some of the soil is kind of washed down. There's another one about to sprout. So all looking very good at the moment in terms of potatoes. Here's some more. And I would say just about every single one has sprouted. The thing about the potatoes now that they've sprouted is I need to make sure I check the weather for frost, because those little tender shoots are frost sensitive. So if we have a frost forecast, I will cover that garden bed over. In the past, I've just used old sheets and covered them over just so they're not as exposed to the frost. So I'll have to make sure that I keep an eye on the weather and cover those over now that they have sprouted. While they're under the ground, doesn't really matter, but now that they're above the ground, they are going to be sensitive to frost. So I'm just going to go and hill some of those up a little bit more because the soil seems to have washed down and exposed them a little bit. That will also provide them with a little bit more protection. So I think that may be it for today's video. Just a fairly short one. Just did a little bit of pottering around the garden. Got those tomatoes in the greenhouse, which, like I said, often I do earlier than this. It's like early October. I think in the past I've done them in September, but I think it will still be fine. And it'll be interesting to see how quickly they take off now that they're in some soil rather than in a pot. But all my other tomatoes are all looking really quite good. And we'll be ready to plant out in about 3 weeks' time out into the garden. But I think that's it. I'm a little bit warm in this greenhouse, so it's time for me to head out and do something else or go inside for a cuppa maybe. So thanks so much for watching. Marcus wasn't here today because I was just pottering, doing a bit of this. He's actually watching Bathurst, the car race. I am not interested in car racing whatsoever, but that's what he's doing today. So I just thought I'd come out and do these few jobs, take you with me, and that'll be it. I'll give you some updates as things progress, but bye for now, and thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoy these videos and you want to learn more and follow our journey. And that will really help us. I've also learned that for YouTube, subscribers aren't as important as liking and putting a comment. So I hate doing this, but you know, the more I can get this channel out so that people get, like, I can share what we're doing, the better. And I know I certainly do it for other YouTubers that I watch. So just press that like button and maybe just a quick comment if you'd like to down the bottom. That really helps the channel to grow and, you know, for more people to be able to see it. So thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.